Well, hi there, Stocks fans, and welcome to the Odsal Stadium, Bradford, for our annual Golden Oldie Classic, with the cars starting 3 abreast as they used to back in the olden days down there on the home straight. This is Heat 1, a qualifying heat for tonight's Grand Final, which is Event 5 on your programmes, and we'll check through the lineup of cars we've got out there on track at the moment. 3 abreast, don't forget, and the first of those on the first row of 3 is 121 Chris Wilkinson, and Chris is from Harrogate. Alongside Chris, in the middle of the front row there, that's number 80, John Ankers from Wrexham. And the last on row 1 of the whites is 273, and that's Keith Jones. Keith is from Bolton. Second row of the white tops, we've got 133, that's Anthony Flanagan from Rochdale. 37, Paul Holmes, right in the middle there, he's from Harrogate. And 369 is Bill McGowan from Manchester. Last of the whites at the moment is 256, Chris Anderson from Leeds. The drivers with slightly more points in the grading charts than the white tops there, the yellow tops, start slightly further back down the track. First of those is 441, that's John Lawn from Norwich. John's been going extremely well of recent weeks. He won the Grand Final at Long Eaton last Saturday, and also placed second in the Crew Final a week before. Alongside John is number 24, that's Lisa Harter from Essex, and number 34 is Mal Brown from West Yorkshire. Just tucked in there behind the first row of 3 is 181, that's Gary Walker from Rotherham. Moving back to the blue tops, we've got 87, Neil Brigg, he's from Huddersfield. Alongside Neil, another man who's been going very well in recent weeks, finished 3rd in his Boston World Championship semi-final, and that's 113, Russell Humphrey, and Russell's from Preston. Last of the blues at the moment is 31, that's David King, and he's from Banbury in Oxfordshire. And just coming round to join them, we've got 216, that's Graham France from Liversedge, West Yorks. The red tops, the top men right to the back of the pack, and we've got a visitor from overseas, the first of those, and that's NZ24, a New Zealander, and that's Frank van der Broenhoffen, and he was racing in the long track world final at Barlow yesterday, as were many of the contenders today, and he's managed to get back to be with us. He's here practicing for the world final, which is here at the Odsal Stadium on September the 19th. 64 in the borrowed marquee car, that was the car used by Gary Parks in last year's Hensford World Final, that's Kev Smith. Kev is from Huddersfield. And the superstar drivers at the back of the pack, we've got 33, that's Peter Faulding from Rotherham, and Peter returns to England triumphant as he won the World Long Track Final yesterday in Barlow. Good to have an English victor once again over in Barlow, and Peter Faulding becomes the World Long Track Champion for the 3rd time. And number 2 alongside him is Paul Harrison from Rotherham. At the back, it looks like we've got car NZ39, and that's the second of our visitors from overseas in New Zealand, and that is in fact the current world champion over in New Zealand, and that's Greg Johnston. Under starters orders then for the first race in the Golden Oldie Classic. 3 abreast, clutch start, and the green flag goes down. We're away and racing. Whole heap of cars into that first bend. Chris Wilkinson first to show in 121. All together around turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Neil Briggs in trouble in car number 87. He's tangled up with NZ24, Frank van Broenhoffen, and Peter Faulding, 33, also involved over there on the back straight, and a lot of work to do to get to the front now. 121, Chris Wilkinson leads it at the end of lap 1. The 133, Anthony Flanagan in second, and Lisa Harter, 24, in third. Trouble here for the New Zealander on the home straight. Greg Johnson getting a taste of action BriSCA style as he pulled right in front of Peter Faulding, number 33, but he survived and he's away and racing down the back straight. Here's the leader again on the home straight across the start-finish line, 121, Chris Wilkinson. The tangle here for Bill McGowan, 369. That could well be the New Zealand. Graham France is taken with him actually in 216 here on the exit of turn 4. Bill McGowan front bumper up against the fence on the exit of turn 4, and a change for the lead as Lisa Harter, number 24, goes through to lead from 121 Chris Wilkinson. Wilkinson trying to get with Harter as they go around turns 1 and 2. He doesn't quite make it, and Lisa powers away down the back straight. So that's our race leader going into turn 3, Lisa Harter in car number 24 with Chris Wilkinson 121 in second. Dave King is there in car number 31 in third, with Anthony Flanagan 133 in fourth. So Lisa Harter leads in 24. She's got a couple of back markers right in front of her. She's going to get round the first of them. That's Gary Walker, 181, drifting wide around turns 3 and 4. And here she is again, the leader, 24, Lisa Harter. With 31, Dave King in second. And 121, Chris Wilkinson in third. John Lawn bounces off 181, Gary Walker, and he's through to fourth. 133, Anthony Flanagan losing out for fifth spot down the back straight, with Paul Harrison, number 2, going through to fifth. Danny Carnot racing at the moment is 369, Bill McGowan, and he's bailing out on turn 4. Paul Harrison, number 2, tangles up with John Lawn, 441, and Paul's gone. Harrison parked up on the infield on turns 1 and 2. John Lawn, 441, lost a couple of places as a result of that tangle down there, with Kev Smith, 64, and Peter Fording, 33, powering on by. Still Lisa Harter, 24, that leads it. Here's our leader again on the home straight, Lisa Harter, 24. And it is the halfway stage. Next time around, Mr. Starter, 24, Lisa Harter leads it. 31, Dave King is second. And it's quite close for third around turns 1 and 2. 1, 2, 1. Chris Wilkinson holds third, but Peter Fording's coming in hard with the front bumper. Shoves Wilkinson aside around turns 3 and 4. And Wilkinson shutting the door on the exit of turn 4, but Peter Fording powered through in 33. He moves through to third, but he's certainly got a lot of work to do. Is it? That Mal Brown, 34, is the third place driver at the moment. Fording's trying to shove his way past him around turns 3 and 4. And it looks like the 33 car's going to come through with 5 laps to run. Next time, Mr. Starter for Lisa Harter, 24. Dave King, 31, trying to get with her in second place. And Peter Fording, 33, is almost a full half lap down on the race leader. Lisa Harter then, 24, with 5 laps to run. From 31, Dave King in second. Peter Fording's in third, with Mal Brown fourth in 34. And Kev Smith in fifth in car number 64. Greg Johnston, NZ39, appeared briefly out of control. He's racing with his counterpart from New Zealand right in front of him, NZ24, Frank van Vroonhoffen. The bumper's going in amongst the New Zealanders, but that's a battle down the charts. Meanwhile, it's Lisa Harter, number 24, that leads it. 3 laps to run board, being prepared for the girl from Essex, number 24, Lisa Harter, and perhaps Dave King, number 31, just closing a little around turns 1 and 2. Peter Fording a long way back in third place in car number 33, and the battle's on for fourth, with 4 of them all together around turns 1 and 2. First of those is Mal Brown, 34, with Kev Smith, 64, on his back bumper as they go down the back straight. And Neil Brigg, 87, and 113, Russell Humphrey also involved in that battle for fourth. Meanwhile, Lisa Harter, 24's got about a lap and a half to run, and Dave King's getting closer in car number 31. And Lisa's in amongst traffic in car number 24, the last lap to run board, being prepared. Lisa Harter moves up the inside of 133, Anthony Flanagan, and Dave King's trying all he knows to get with her as they go down the back straight for the last time. Lisa Harter slightly in front, fourth place has gone Kev Smith, the 64 tangled up. Dave King's coming in, he's just missed Lisa Harter. It looks like Lisa Harter, 24, is going to win, and we've got a rollover over there. Russell Humphrey, 113, rolls it right over. And we're going straight to red, Mr. Starter. So a dramatic end to Heat 1, with Dave King coming in with a last bend dive on Lisa Harter and missing, and Russell Humphrey, 113, going right over in the battle for fourth. But also removed Kev Smith, 64, over the beams. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation. A great drive from start to finish, and the winner of Heat 1, number 24, Lisa Harter. And all the way around turns 1 and 2, the winner of Heat 1, number 24, Lisa Harter. And on the back straight, winner of Heat 1, number 24, Lisa Harter. Another full and confirmed result to Heat 1, which of course was won by number 24, Lisa Harter. In second place it was 31, Dave King, and in third was 33, Peter Fording. Fourth place went to 34, Mal Brown. In fifth was 64, Kev Smith. Sixth place went to 87, Neil Brigg. In seventh was New Zealand 39, Greg Johnston. Eighth place went to NZ 24, Frank van Vroonhoffen, and those 8 drivers go forward to tonight's grand final. The 9th and 10th were 216, Graham France, and 133, Anthony Flanagan. And owing to a race stoppage right at checkered flag time, the result had to be taken back to the last completed lap, the last fully completed lap before the stoppage, which of course is why Kev Smith 64 appears in the results, although he had actually crashed out over the beams at the time of the stoppage. We'll run through that top 10 once again, numbers only. First 24, second 31, third 33, fourth 34,
Hello?
fifth 64,
First 24,
sixth 87,
31,
seventh NZ 39,
34,
eighth NZ 24,
87,
ninth 216,
NZ 39,
and in 10th 133. It looks like we've got about 20 cars on track for Heat 2, and once again starting 3 abreast, certainly very spectacular when they head away down towards that first turn off a clutch start. And the man who's heading them away from pole position of those white tops is 297, and that's Nicholas Field from Harrogate. Alongside Nick it's 32, Stu Bate, Stu's from Chester, and 344 is Tony Brown, and he's from Liversedge, West Yorks. Nice to see Dave Smith back, 423, he's from Barnsley, and 533 alongside Dave, been going very well recently, certainly getting used to that car, is Phil Herzog, he's from Altrincham. Last of the whites is 314, that's Andy Maltas from Halifax. The yellow grade being brought right up to the back bumper of the white tops. First of those is 183, that's Paul Marler, and he's from Northwich in Cheshire. 382 is Paul Pennington from Manchester. 131 is Richard Thornton, he's from Cleckheaton. Also amongst the yellow tops we've got 132, that's Peter Morton from Liversedge, and 265 is Rob Bradsell from Manchester. Blue tops being closed right up, 3 of them. 109 is Phil Smith, he's from Huddersfield. 202 is Richard Mason from Bradford, and a rare appearance for 535, Dave Cusack from Preston. Red top drivers, 86 is David Tilson, he's from Middleton in Teesdale, County Durham. 73 is Rob Cowley from Nuneaton in Warwickshire. 97 is Murray Harrison from Northants. 212, Frankie Wayman Senior from Silsden, West Yorks. 471 is Bobby Burns. Good to see Bobby up here, no doubt preparing for his world final appearance in just a few weeks' time. He's from Ilford in Essex. And the last of the drivers on the grid, very familiar face indeed, 53, John Lund, the world and national points champion. And the starter's orders and away then. Nick Field, 297's got trouble, which is delaying the whole inside line. Certainly some pushing going on there as they go down towards turns 1 and 2. And it looks like they're all safely away around turns 1 and 2, but it's beginning to happen over there on the back straight with Peter Morton in trouble in 132. And they're tangling up on turns 3 and 4. Paul Pennington was briefly in trouble with 533. Phil Herzog is 32. Stu Bate who leads it. So every car got away to the end of lap 1. 109 Phil Smith briefly onto the infield around turns 1 and 2. And it's still 32 Stu Bate who is our leader over the start-finish line. 265 Rob Bradsell second, and 382 Paul Pennington in third. Bumpers flying as Richard Mason, 202, shunts David Tilson, 86 on a very wide line around turns 1 and 2, and Mason makes that place and goes after Rob Cowley down the back straight. We've lost Paul Marlow, 183, and a shunt with the wall over on turns 3 and 4, and a slow mover on the home straight is 423, Dave Smith. Peter Morton in trouble in 132, he'll have to try again in the consolation as he's pulled off onto the infield and got hooked up with a beam on turn 2. And here comes our leader again, 32 Stu Bate with 265, Rob Bradsell close behind in second. Bradsell comes in hard at the bumper and Bate goes wide in 32, but he races back off the outside line and Bradsell doesn't get through, and already showing very well is 53 John Lund, and Bradsell pulls aside and lets Lund through, and Lund goes in with the bumper on the 32 car, and he comes through to lead the heats, but he takes a very wide line and Bobby Burns catches up very slightly in 471. Murray Harrison in 97, the next to the Reds to show. He's trying to get past the flying Stu Bate, 32, and also Rob Bradsell, 265. But it's 53 John Lund that leads it from 471 Bobby Burns. Phil Smith 109 tangled up with 314. Andy Maltas on the exit of turn 2. And Dave Smith 423 is a retirement to the infield there. And Bobby Burns very close behind John Lund down the back straight. That's the lead too, 53 and 471. And Burnsy closes up once again in 471 as they go around turns 1 and 2. And Lund takes a very wide line and Burnsy's right with him as they go down the home straight and into turns 1 and 2. 53 John Lund just edging 471 Bobby Burns down the back straight. Lund pulls away on the straights, but Bobby Burns is closing right up around the corners. Burnsy 471 trying to get with 53 John Lund, the world and national points champion. That's the top two at the halfway stage of Heat 2. 97 Murray Harrison quite some way back in third place, and it's 202 Richard Mason in fourth. 265 Rob Bradford going well in fifth. Back markers in front of John Lund and they slow him right down, and Bobby Burns is catching up in 471. He's right with John Lund as they go down the home straight. And Lund's still got traffic in front of him and they're tangling up, but he gets through up the inside of Dave Cusack 535, and now Burnsy 471's dropped back a little bit. He's got Dave Cusack on his front bumper to deal with, but now the lead two are clear. 53 John Lund over the start finish line, 471 Bobby Burns in second. And there's 5 laps to run next time for the world and national points champion 53 John Lund, with Bobby Burns trying to get with him in 471. And that's the battle for the checkered flag in Heat 2. 5 laps to run board, being prepared for 53 John Lund. We've lost David Tilson, 86, looks like he's blown a back outside tyre over on the back straight. 53 John Lund leads it from 471 Bobby Burns second, 97 Murray Harrison is third, 202 Richard Mason is fourth, 212 Frankie Wayman Senior is in fifth place. That's the top 5 with about 4 laps to run. 53 John Lund now pulling away from 471 and Bobby Burns. Lund moving up the inside of 32 Stu Bate as they come on to the home straight. 3 to run for the world and national points champion. 471 Bobby Burns still there in second, and then Murray Harrison 97 in third. The top 4 very well spread with Richard Mason 202 in that 4th place, and then a long way back down track to 5th Frankie Wayman Senior 212. 109 Phil Smith is in 6th place with Rob Cowley 73 in 7th. John Lund 53 powers away down the back straight. 471 and Bobby Burns trying to get with him, but he's running out of time as the last laps are on board, being prepared for 53 John Lund the leader. 471 Bobby Burns, 1 lap to try and get with that Lundmobile in second spot. Lund moves up the inside of 265 Rob Bradford, and it looks like he's going to take Heat 2 in our clutch start Golden Oldie Classic. Coming off turn 4 victorious, the checkered flag prepared, and John Lund wins it in 53 with Bobby Burns second, 471, and Murray Harrison coming home third in 97. And John receiving his race winners award and the checkered flag, photographs being taken of the world champion. He defends that world title here at Bradford on September the 19th from a front row start. He won his semi-final at Hartlepool, and Danny Clark 203 surprise winner at Boston will start on pole position for the big race in September the 19th. Meanwhile, coming round on a lap of honour, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, show your appreciation to the winner of Heat 2, 53 John Lund. And we do have the full results to Heat 2 for the BriSCA Formula 1s. That, of course, was won by 53 John Lund. In second place, it was 471 Bobby Burns. And third went to 97 Murray Harrison. In 4th place, it was 202 Richard Mason. 5th spot went to 212 Frankie Wayman Senior. In 6th, it was 109 Phil Smith. 7th place went to 73, Rob Cowley. And in 8th was 265, Rob Bradsall. Those 8 drivers go forward to the grand final, race 5 on your programmes. The 9th and 10th were 32, Stu Bates, and 535, Dave Cusack. So we'll run through that top 10, numbers only. First, 53. Second, 471. Third, 97. Fourth, 202. Fifth, 212. Sixth, 109. Seventh, 73. 8th, 265, 9th, 32, and in 10th, 535. Cars now coming out for Heat 3, and we'll check through the lineup for you in just a couple of minutes. Cars being brought together for Heat 3, and that will be led away by 421, and that's Nigel Wilkinson from Harrogate. Tucked in there in the middle of the front row of the whites, 237, Bob Timpley from Widnes. 277 is Martin Southwell from Skipton. Number 11 and 12, a racing team from Colne in Lancashire. Number 11 is driven by Sean Taylor, and number 12 is Leonard Morris. 416 is Nick Gretton, he's from Hucknall in Nottingham, and the last of the whites is 513, that's Paul Wilson from Preston. 5 yellow tops out of there, the first one is 28, that's Eddie Roberts from Littleborough. 424 is Mike Hayward from Manchester. 92 is George Braithwaite from Chatburn. 389 Steve Burgess from Manchester, and 436 is Richard Knight from Nottingham. Green flags go down. Already Bob Timberley in trouble. We'll check through the lineup of blues there as they go through. 234 Mark Duxbury, 413 Matthew Bennett, 236 Mike Ives, and a rollover already. We got one right over, and that's number 12 Len Morris. We're going waving yellows, and we will read it, Mr. Starter. Complete restart ordered by the meeting steward. Red flags for the rollover over there, and that's what you used to get when they started all bunched up as they headed towards turns 1 and 2. And that's a relative newcomer to the sport right over on his roof on turn 2. It's number 12 Leonard Morris. Just waiting for Leonard to emerge from the car. It looks like he's all okay. Under starters orders then, away and racing. And they charge away to turn 1 once again. And this time it looks like we're all going to get safely around turn 1. It's 421, Nigel Wilkinson that leads down the back straight. The whole pack together, it's Andy Clark, 169, making a move from the blues, but he's shunted into the turn, and Matthew Bennett's right over in 413. And wave yellows, Mr. Starter. And we'll read it again. We'll go a complete restart again, Mr. Starter. Matthew Bennett, 413, right the way over on turn 3, very spectacularly too. Balanced on his back bumper at one stage, and is certainly getting the action like we used to in the old days by bringing them all together for 3 abreast car start. That's 3 rollovers tonight. Matthew Bennett won't be very happy about joining the tally, but he certainly did in a big way over there on turn 3. Looks like the driver's out all okay. So once again, apologies for stopping the action, but I'm sure you'll understand, and we'll get away and racing with Heat 3 just as soon as possible. We've got just 15 cars left from an original field of 23 for race 3, with 8 qualified for the grand final. Coming on the starters order, it's clutch start 3 abreast. Away and racing, green flag goes down. Let's see if we can get on to lap 1 this time. It's all beginning to happen again. Mike Hayward 424 over the beams with 92 George Braithwaite. Bob Timpley spins right around and they're going into the wall. 234 Mark Duxbury, 92 George Braithwaite, 389 Steve Burgess and 169 Andy Clark, all involved on the exit of turn 2. But we have got on to lap 1, and it's 421 Nigel Wilkinson that leads it from 436 Richard Knight and 236 Michael Ives. That's the top 3 in the very early stages of Heat 3. Gretton goes to the wall in 416, Mike James 417, the man that put him there, as the red top charge comes through the field, and already the 3 red tops on track have made it up to 4th, 5th and 6th on the charts, and it's 421 Nigel Wilkinson that leads it from 436 Richard Knight, 236 Michael Ives, 417 Mike James, 260 Dave Beresford and 213 Des Chandler. That's the top 6 on the charts on lap 3 of Heat 3. Positions sure to change very soon as they go down the back straight. Mike James first to show from the Reds, 417 comes through into third past Michael Eyes, 236. And it looks like Richard Knight, 436, might be the next to be swamped by the red top train. 417 Mike James leans on the 436 car around turns 1 and 2, and the rest of the Reds are nipped through as 436. So Richard Knight drops down the charts. Still 421, Nigel Wilkinson that leads it, but Mike James right on his back bumper around turns 3 and 4. And he pulls over, he pulls aside, 421 Nigel Wilkinson, and Mike James goes through in 417 with 260 Dave Beresford trying to get off the inside down the back straight in 213, Des Chandler in third. Back marker comes into play with 389, Steve Burgess in the way of the 417 Mike James car on the exit of turn 4. Mike James comes through in 417 in the lead with Des Chandler 213 putting the pressure on 260 Dave Beresford for second place. Top three all together, 417 Mike James, 260 Dave Beresford and 213 Des Chandler. Beresford comes in with a bumper on 417 Mike James, doesn't move him aside but he's up the inside as James just wide, and Beresford goes through the lead in on the home straight in car number 260. Des Chandler 213 trying to get involved but he's still back in third. Mike James putting the pressure on Dave Beresford 260. Down the back straight, James comes in with a bumper on the 260 car, and Des Chandler trying to nip through the inside, the top three all together on the exit of turn 4. And it is the halfway stage of heat 3. Dave Beresford 260 leads it with 417 Mike James second and Des Chandler 213 in third. And just the gap develops between the lead three for once. They've been all together since the very beginning of this race. 260 Dave Beresford comes across the line as the leader at the halfway stage of heat 3. 417 Mike James still in second with the attentions of Des Chandler 213 right behind him. Back in fourth it's 236 Michael Eyes with 436 Richard Knight in fifth. But here come those red tops again onto the home straight with 260 Dave Beresford at the 4. And there is 5 laps to run next time Mr. Starter for those 3 red tops at the front of the field. 260 Dave Beresford leads it from 417 Mike James and 213 Des Chandler. Just 5 laps to go if there's going to be any changes amongst those front 3, but it looks like Dave Beresford 260 is pulling out a gap between himself and second place Mike James 417, although Des Chandler 213 still trying to get up the inside of Mike James. We've lost the novice driver 451 Chris Walker, and that's a shame because with not many cars running he may well have found himself among the top 10 places at the climax of the race. In the meantime, the red tops shoot on by, and it's 260 Dave Beresford that leads from 417 Mike James and 213 Des Chandler. They're about a half a lap clear of our solitary blue top in fourth. That's 236 Michael Ives, and 436 Richard Knight is in fifth place. 260 Dave Beresford still leads it down the back straight. Mike James 417 maybe moving a little closer, and Des Chandler always in the frame in 213. A little bit of traffic immediately in front of the leader. It's 436 Richard Knight that he has to negotiate. That put Beresford slightly offline. And Des Chandler pressuring 417 Mike James, and he's going through. James looks like he might have got a problem in the 417 car, and Des Chandler 213's gone through to second. Dave Beresford's the man he's chasing in first place. The last lap to run board being prepared. And if Des Chandler's going to get close enough to put pressure on the 260 car, he's got to do it on this lap. He's certainly trying hard around turns 1 and 2, but Beresford pulls away down the back straight, and it's unlikely that Chandler will be close enough in the 213 car. And off turn 4, it's Dave Beresford 260 that wins heat 3 from Des Chandler 213 and 417 Mike James. Fast and furious stuff indeed amongst those 3 red tops at the head of the field. But the man who showed all his experience to come home at the front after 16 racing laps was 260 Dave Beresford. And we can have the red flags, please. Again, let's show your appreciation to the winner of heat 3, 260 Dave Beresford. So congratulations Dave, and we'll run through with the results to heat 3, won of course by 260 Dave Beresford. In second was 213 Des Chandler, and in third was 417 Mike James. Fourth place went to 236, Michael Ives. In fifth was 424, Mike Hayward. Sixth place went to 169, Andy Clark. In seventh was 436, Richard Knight. Eighth place went to 389, Steve Burgess. Those 8 drivers go forward to the grand final. The ninth and last to finish was 237, Bob Timperley. So we'll run through those 9 finishes of race 3 for the BriSCA Formula 1s. Once again, numbers only. First 260, second 213, third 417, fourth 236, fifth 424, sixth 169, seventh 436, eighth 389, and ninth 237. Okay then, this is the consolation event lining up on track with the first 8 to go forward to the final, but this is the last chance to go forward to the grand final, which is event 5 on your programmes. The next one up, and just look at that field of white tops starting 3 abreast in tonight's clutch start. Of course, the Golden Oldie Clutch Start Classic held once a year here at Bradford, and the final is raced for the very prestigious Wilf Blundell Bowl, and we've also got the Wilf Blundell Cup up for grabs in the Grand National event. So we'll try and get through this lineup of white tops there, and just spare a thought for those guys that are starting this race right in the middle of that bunch of white toppers. The first of the whites is 133, Anthony Flanagan. In the middle of row 1 is 121, Chris Wilkinson. 37, Paul Holmes is on the outside of row 1. Moving back to row 2, we've got 344, Tony Brown. 273, Keith Jones, and 533, Phil Herzog. Row 3 of the whites, 297 is Nick Field. 369, Bill McGowan. Number 80 is John Ankers. Row 4 of the whites, 256 is Chris Anderson, 237 is Bob Timperley, and 423 is Dave Smith. 421 is driven by Nigel Wilkinson, 416 is Nick Gretton, 277 is Martin Southwell, and the last of the whites tucked in at the back is 32, Stu Bates. 18 coming on the starters' orders then for the consolation. The green flag goes down, we're away and racing, and Chris Anderson stalled it in 256. And that caused a delay for the whole inside line. They're all racing around turns 1 and 2 together, and Tony Brown in 344's in trouble. He's climbing over the front end of one of his white top counterparts out there, 273 Keith Jones. They've all gone piling in on the exit of turn 2. We lost Danny Clark, 203. He's spun around. Bob Timberley, 237, coming across the racing line right in front of the pack. He's collected by 256 Chris Anderson. We lost 113 Russell Humphrey onto the centre green, and he's going to have to retire from the rest of this event. So no grand final place for Russ Humphrey. Not been a happy meeting for him. Meanwhile, we look around to see who we've got racing, and we've got 421 in the lead, and that's Nigel Wilkinson. The lead has gone 121. Chris Wilkinson spun right around by 133 Anthony Flanagan. So Flanagan goes through to lead the consolation event. So here comes the leader onto the home straight, and it's 133 Anthony Flanagan, who escaped all the pilots and things in lap 1, and he's come through to lead the consolation. We've got 37 Paul Holmes in second place, and 383 Dave Johnson in third. So certainly the early laps sort out as predicted, got rid of quite a few cars around the raceway. Still plenty left racing, competing for just 8 places to qualify for tonight's grand final. And the man who's leading them at the moment is 133 Anthony Flanagan, with 37 Paul Holmes in second place, although Dave Johnson 383 is bearing down on him in third. And Johnson could well go through on the back straight. As 37 Paul Holmes pulls aside, and Dave Johnson 383 goes through to second. It's still 133 Anthony Flanagan that leads it. Eddie Roberts spins out in 28 on the exit of turn 2. Almost collects Paul Marler 183, but Marler avoided it. And Roberts has come as close to the infield as he can get, so he's completely off the racing line. Still 133 Anthony Flanagan that leads it as he goes past the spun car of 121 Chris Wilkinson. And here's the race leader again on the home straight. And they're all piling in there on turns 3 and 4. And Wayman Jr. has gone in 515, and Paul Harrison also in car number 2. And the field's racing by, and they're dropping out of the top 8 places, and they've really got their work cut out to qualify for the grand final. Indeed, we lost Paul Harrison onto the infield. Frankie Wayman Jr. is trying to get racing again, but he's stuck up on the outside there at turns 3 and 4. He's certainly got a problem up there and may not be able to get restarted. Stu Bates 32 crunches the wall here at the end of the home straight, but he escapes and gets back racing again. And meanwhile, the lead's in dispute as we go into turn 3 with 133 Anthony Flanagan pulling over for 383 Dave Johnson to go through. And it's Dave Johnson, the blue top driver from Chesterfield, that leads it on the home straight in car number 383. Halfway. And it is the halfway stage of the consolation. Back marker in front of Dave Johnson, 183. Paul Marler pulls out of the way as they go down the back straight. Dave Johnson nips through in 383, race leader of the consolation tonight at the Odsal Stadium, Bradford, with 133 Anthony Flanagan in that second spot.
86 and
86 David Toulson is in third place, but he's a long way down on the lead too, with 383 Dave Johnson pulling away at the front of the field, blasting his way around turns 3 and 4 and onto the home straight. Dave only returned to the raceways recently, and now he's got 5 laps to run next time. 5 laps away from a consolation win. He won the consolation at Boston on semi-final day, going in very hard on the back marker there, removing 37 Paul Holmes to the outside line, and comes through on the inside with 5 laps to run for 383 Dave Johnson. In second, it's still a very good performance from 133 Anthony Flanagan, and 86 David Toulson, and 216 Graham France are third and fourth on the charts. Dave Johnson, 383, is slowing up slightly. He could well have a problem on that 383 car. Indeed he has. He's got a flat outside tyre, and that's cruel luck on Johnson. So now the lead very much in dispute. And David Toulson nips through in 86 and punches Johnson out the way in 383. So David Toulson leads it in 86 from 216. Graham France down the back straight, and Dave Johnson 383 slipping down the places. David Toulson goes in hard with the bumper and removes John Anker's number 18, Paul Marler, 183. And there's 3 laps to run now for David Toulson, the race leader of the consolation in 86. Danny Clark's in all sorts of trouble over on the back straight in car number 203. A flat back outside tyre looks to be his problem. 86 David Toulson trying to look set for a rare race win on shale. He's got 2 laps to run, but Graham France 216 is right behind him. Sajama indeed, as Dave Johnson 383 punctured and dropped down the places in the consolation. 133 Anthony Flanagan had nowhere to go, and David Toulson's come through in 86. Graham France going in hard in 216, and Toulson rides it in 86, and the lead 2 together on the home straight as we go on to the last lap. Graham France 216 right behind David Toulson, 86 around turns 1 and 2, and Toulson goes wide. 216 Graham France goes through, and Toulson's right behind him down the back straight for the last time, and here comes David Toulson with the big one, and Graham France has gone, and Toulson's tangling up, and Toulson's going to come through to win it in car number 86, and David Toulson takes a spectacular win in the consolation, and Graham France trying to get racing again in car number 216, but he received the big one and went away into the parked cars over on the outside of turns 3 and 4 and dropping back and down the places. The top 10 in second was 234 Mark Duxbury, who got very close to the action in the closing stages and almost nipped through to win it as Toulson and Graham France drifted wide. I need to keep them going a minute, please, Mr. Starter. Get everyone down on the chart. Still places to be won out there on track.
Okay.
And we can have the red flags, please. So come on then, ladies and gentlemen, give it a nice round of applause. That was an absolutely cracking finish to a great race, and the winner was 86, David Toulson. And we do have a full and confirmed result to that consolation event. 30 cars were out there on track going for 8 qualifying places for tonight's grand final. And the winner was 86 David Toulson. In second place was 234 Mark Duxbury. And third, making the trip from Holland very worthwhile, was 413 Matthew Bennett. In fourth place it was 533 Phil Herzog. Fifth place went to 216 Graham France. In sixth was 383 Dave Johnson. Seventh place went to 441 John Lawn. Eighth was 37 Paul Holmes. Those 8 drivers go to the next race on your programme, which is the Wilf Blundell Grand Final. The 9th and 10th were 535 Dave Cusack and 121 Chris Wilkinson. So we'll run through that top 10 again, numbers only. The first 86, second 234, third 413, fourth 533, fifth 216, sixth 383, seventh 441, eighth 37, ninth 535, and in 10th 121. This then is tonight's grand final, competing for the Wilf Blundell Bowl. We're racing over 20 laps, clutch start. Once again, there's just two white tops out there at the very front of the pack, and that's 37 Paul Holmes and 533 Phil Herzog. Yellow tops, 24 Lisa Harter, 424 Mike Hayward, and 436 Richard Knight. More yellows on row 3, 389 is Steve Burgess, 265 Rob Bradsell, and 441 John Lawn. The blue tops are 169 Andy Clark, 202 Richard Mason, 87 Neil Brigg, 31 is Dave King, 109 Phil Smith, 234 Mark Duxbury, 383 is driven by Dave Johnson, 236 is Michael Ives, and 216 is Graham France. Last of the blues is 413 Matthew Bennett. Red top drivers, we got NZ24 Frank van Vroonhoffen, 213 is Des Chandler, 260 Dave Beresford, 73 Rob Cowley, 64 Kev Smith, 212 is Frankie Wayman, 86 is David Toulson, 97 is driven by Murray Harrison, 417 is Mike James, 471 that's Bobby Burns, and right at the back we've got 33 Peter Faulding and 53 John Lund. And just moving round to join us at the very back of the field is NZ39, that's the 240 cubic inch world champion, and that's Greg Johnston. That's your field of cars for tonight's grand final. We're racing over the 20 laps for the Wilf Blundell Bowl. There's 31 cars out there. We're going over 20 laps. Three abreast, clutch start.
So your non-starter is Mel Brown.
The top 31 cars of the night all together there on the home straight, coming on the starters' orders for the grand final. And the green flag goes down. We're away and racing, and just look at that down the home straight as they all head towards turn one. Mark Duxbury and Graham France, 234, 216, very slow away. Possible that Duxbury stalled in 234. Andy Clark's gone in 169 to the infield, but we're all away and racing. 413 Matthew Bennett tangles up with 260 Dave Beresford, and 97 Murray Harrison gets involved on the exit of turn 2. Michael Ives 236 very wide around turn 3 and 4, and Steve Burgess has gone in 389 with David Toulson 86 on the home straight. The leader is 533 Phil Herzog in the grand final with 424 Mike Hayward second, and Richard Knight 436 in third. And a big shunt over there as Dave King 31 joins in with 265 Rob Bradsell. 87 Neil Brigg goes on the exit of the back straight with NZ24 Frank van Vroonhoffen. And it's 533 Phil Herzog that leads. And we need the yellow flags, Mr. Starley, yellows.
Get there in a minute. We've done 2 laps.
Coming on the starters' orders then on the restart of the Wilf Blundell Grand Final. More or less on track in the order that they are on the charts. Green flag goes down, we're back and racing. Grand final action here at the Odsal Stadium, Bradford. And it's 533 Phil Herzog that leads the charge through the home straight. 424 Mike Hayward second, 202 Richard Mason third, 109 Phil Smith fourth, and 436 Richard Knight in fifth. The red top charge around turns 1 and 2 as Richard Mason tangles up with Mike Hayward, 424, and both them losing time. 533 Phil Herzog still leads with 109 Phil Smith in second, 436 Richard Knight up to third, and Lisa Harter 24 in fourth. The lead's about to change. Phil Smith 109 going through past 533 Phil Herzog. So there's a new leader. It's the Huddersfield base driver 109 Phil Smith who leads on the home straight and down towards turn 1. 533 Phil Herzog second, and 436 Richard Knight in third, and 383 Dave Johnson's moving through into fourth place, and 417 Mike James climbs across the front of NZ39 Greg Johnston and spins away and out of the grand final on the exit of the home straight. James trying to get back racing again as the race leader comes around. 109 Phil Smith, Peter Faulding 33 going in hard on 73 Rob Cowley, and also 441 John Lawn, and Bobby Burns trying to come up the inside in 471, but Faulding shuts the door and moves through up the inside of Rob Cowley 73. Bobby Burns briefly out of control in 471. Used Rob Cowley to balk him from going in the wall. Peter Faulding in hard again in 33. He's the defending champion of this Wilf Blundell Bowl. He's actually left the trophy at home in Rotherham, so he's hoping he doesn't let anyone else win it, otherwise he won't be able to give them the trophy back. And 441 John Lawn spun, and the world champion's gone. 53 John Lund's in trouble. just manages to avoid a beam. He could well be out of the grand final here at Bradford. At 33, Peter Fording is in pursuit of the race leader. He's in third place. He's behind 533 Phil Herzog, who is second. Takes a wide outside and dives through past the white top. Herzog tries to shut the door, but Fording's through, and now he's off in pursuit of 109 Phil Smith, and Bobby Burns is trying to come through on the inside. There's Fording inside on the exit of turn 2, but Fording rides it, and Bobby Burns has to tuck in third. 109 Phil Smith is the man they're all chasing his first place, with 33 Peter Fording second, 471 Bobby Burns in third, 533 Phil Herzog, a good performance from the white top in fourth, and 383 Dave Johnson in fifth. NZ39 Greg Johnson takes a wide outside line on turns 1 and 2 and clobbers the wall. Just wide in 64, Kev Smith goes through. Halfway. And it is the halfway stage of the grand final lawn, with 109 Phil Smith in the lead and 33 Dave Barrett, 33 Peter Fording in second, and 471 Bobby Burns third. And Peter Fording's in pursuit of that race leader, and that's 109 Phil Smith. Fording won this Will Flundell Bowl at Scunthorpe last year. He's got every intention of taking it back to Rotherham with him, as he is in second place, and in pursuit of 109 Phil Smith in the lead. 471 Bobby Burns trying to get with the lead too in that third place. Bumpers going in the minor places. 73 Rob Cowley tries to shift 383 Dave Johnson out of the way. Wayman Senior now getting involved in 212, and Dave Johnson's gone in 383, tangling up with Rob Cowley 73, and almost right over in the 383 car, right up on two wheels, and Frankie Wayman Senior goes in hard on the side of that 383 car, and we've lost 3 drivers from the top 10 places over there on turns 1 and 2, and it doesn't look like Dave Johnson 383 will get racing again. Bobby Burns goes in hard on 33 Peter Fording and shifts him aside, and Burns is coming through to second place in the Will Flundell Grand Final. That relegates Peter Fording to third, but the man they're still all chasing is 109 Phil Smith, and there's 5 laps to run next time. Mr. Starter in this Grand Final, and what a finish is building up to be. Bobby Burns is trying to get past the lap down NZ24, and he's gone wide, and Peter Fording dives through in 33 to second place. It's still 109 Phil Smith that leads it, and he's moving up the inside of the back marker 436 Richard Knight. Peter Fording 33 and Bobby Burns 471 in second and third, and trying to get with the leader. Fording goes in hard on the back markers. He removes NZ24 Frank van Broenhoffen, and now he's got a clear track to between him and 109 Phil Smith, the race leader. We've got just about 3.5 laps to run in the Will Flundell Grand Final, with 109 Phil Smith leading from 33 Peter Fording, and just looking at 33 car close on the 109 car as they're around turns 3 and 4. 3 laps to run this time for those lead 2, and Fording's going in hard with the bumper, and 109 Phil Smith goes wide, and Fording's through to lead in car number 33. Bobby Burns 471 moving in on car number 109 Phil Smith. He dives on the inside, and they're tangling up. The second and third are tangling up. 109 Phil Smith and 471 Bobby Burns have gone, and they're drifting back out in front of the racing line, and that untangles them, but Bobby Burns tangled up with a beam now, and that leaves Peter Fording away and clear in the lead in car number 33, and it's 64 Kev Smith in second place. So Jana indeed is the second and third on the charts, tangled up, and here's Peter Fording onto his last. He is the defending Will Flundell Bowl champion, and it looks like he's going to take that trophy home to Rotherham with him. He's on the back straight for the last time. 33 Peter Fording, the leader of the grand final here at Odsal Stadium, Bradford. Coming around turns 3 and 4, checkered flag being prepared, and Peter Fording wins it in car number 33. Looking a long way back down track for that second place, and that could well be 64 Kev Smith, with maybe Dave Beresford in third in 260. We keep them coming, Lawns, to get everyone down on the charts. Mike James clambers up the side of 31 Dave King. Okay. And we can have the red flags, please. Good race. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the winner of the grand final at Odsal Stadium tonight for the Will Flundell Bowl, 33 Peter Fording. And we do have the results of the Wilf Blundell Grand Final, won of course by 33 Peter Fording. In second place it was 64 Kev Smith, and third went to 260 Dave Beresford. In fourth place it was 109 Phil Smith. In fifth it was NZ39 Greg Johnston. Sixth place went to 533 Phil Herzog. In seventh it was 216 Graham France. Eighth place went to 213 Des Chandler. In ninth it was 31 Dave King. And 10th place went to 417 Mike James. So we'll run through those top 10 in the Wilf Blundell Grand Final, numbers only. First 33, second 64, third 260, fourth 109, fifth NZ39, sixth 533, seventh 216, eighth 213, ninth 31, and 10th 417. In effect then, pole position for the Stocksline Grand National Wilf Blundell Cup goes to 423 Dave Smith. We got 344 Tony Brown in the middle of row 1 of the whites, and 273 Keith Jones on outside row 1. The second row of the whites, that's 32 Stuart Bates, number 11 Sean Taylor, and 533 Phil Herzog. Just one yellow top out there on her own, and that's 24 Lisa Harter, winner of Heat 1. That was the first race win of Lisa's career early on tonight. Blue tops, we got 202 Richard Mason, 113 Russell Humphrey, and 535 Dave Cusack. Also out there, 234 is Mark Duxbury, 31 Dave King, 87 Neil Brigg, and 216 Graham France. The red top drivers at NZ24, which is Frank van Broenhoffen, 260 is Dave Beresford, 212 Frankie Wayman, 213 Des Chandler, and superstar driver there, number 2 is Paul Harrison. A couple of red tops moving round to join the back of their pack. 417 is Mike James, 73 Rob Cowley, and 64, the last of the reds, is Kev Smith. Looks like we're about ready to go with the Stocksline Grand National running for the Wilf Blundell Cup. Under starters orders, the green goes down, we're away and racing. Lisa Harter's in trouble in 24, she's gone on to the middle, and the pack go racing on by, and NZ24 also in trouble, that's Frank van Broenhoffen, and he's stranded right here on the home straight. Both the 24 cars here on the home straight trying to get racing. Bumpers going in ever so hard at the end of the back straight, and 423 Dave Smith is on the front of that shunt, and he's gone to the wall. And NZ24 Frank van Broenhoffen still stranded here on the home straight as the pack come charging on by. But everyone missed him, and the other 24 car Lisa Hart is able to rejoin, but she's missed a full racing lap. And already we've got a leader from the blue top ranks. That's 202 Richard Mason, away and clear in the lead in this Stocksline Grand National, running for the Wilf Blundell Cup. And another good performance has been put in already by a white top driver, 533 Phil Herzog. Peter Fording pushed his way past the novice driver 451, and Neil Brick clobbers the wall over there on the back straight, number 87. Ooh. Frankie Wayman Sr. had a very noisy problem indeed in 212, could have well have blown the engine wide apart in that 212 car. Very bad luck indeed for the Silverstone-based driver up there on turns 1 and 2. Still 202 Richard Mason that leads it, and certainly it's very difficult to see anyone catching that flying 202 car. He's on his hometown track, of course, based here in Bradford. The 202 car flying down the home straight in the lead in the Stocksline Grand National, with 533 Phil Herzog in second and 31 Dave King third. 213 Des Chandler's running in fourth with 260 Dave Beresford in fifth. Second place changing as Dave King 31 moves up the inside of Phil Herzog 533, and Des Chandler spins out of fourth. In 213 he was going for the big one, trying to take two places in one go, and just spins the 213 car right around and proceeds to lose most of the racing laps, stranded up there on 3 and 4. 202 Richard Mason the leads it here on the home straight. Another blue top in second place now, and that's 31 Dave King with 533 Phil Herzog, the white top in third spot. Lisa Harter briefly out of control in the 24 car on the home straight, almost caused a problem for 32 Stu Bates. It is the halfway stage for the race leader, 202 Richard Mason. He's trying to negotiate that back marker over there on the back straight, and gets up the inside of Stu Bates, car number 32, and leads up the halfway stage of the Stocksline Grand National on the start-finish line. Dave Beresford trying to get through past 533. Phil Herzog certainly had to work very hard, but he did manage to get through in the end. And instantly a train of red and superstar drivers go flying past that white top driver. And Herzog's got a problem in 533. The novice 451 clobbers the beams here on the start-finish line. That could be the end of his day. Chris Walker in the Wayman Hire car, and it is 5 laps to run next time for our race leader, 202 Richard Mason. And Wayman Jr.'s gone in 515 with Dave Beresford 260. Bobby Burns 471 spun them both right around there on turn 2. That could cause a problem for the people that haven't seen them. They're virtually blocking the racing line, those two top drivers. They're starting on road 2 of the World Final in a few weeks' time, and they certainly want to end up in a heap like that as they are down on turn 2. It's Richard Mason 202 that leads it. 31 Dave King's running in second with 471. Bobby Burns in third spot after spinning his 2 red top counterparts out of that Grand National, with 53 John Lund in fourth and 64 Kev Smith fifth. Peter Fording 33 looks like he's worked his way through into the top 8 places in the Grand National. He's on double points and double prize money, having won the Grand Final. But it looks like 202 Richard Mason is going to take the other half of the Wilf Blundell silverware here at Bradford tonight. It's a very prestigious Wilf Blundell Cup up for grabs, and Mason's just 2 laps away from taking it in the 202 car. He's even coming round to get in a position to lap the 33 car of Peter Fording, and Mason is really flying in that 202 machine over on the back straight. Second place could be about to change hands. Dave King 31's battling with Bobby Burns 471. John Lund 53 trying to get in the frame down the back straight as well. And Lund closes right up in the second place of tangling, and Bobby Burns is in trouble all over the front end of Dave King 31, and John Lund can't get by in 53. And they unhook, but it's too late because Lund's already nipped through to second with Dave King in third and trying to take the world champion out of the running on turns 1 and 2. Richard Mason wins the stock sign Grand National, and it looks like John Lund has to scrape through and he might come home second. He's just on turns 3 and 4 for the last time. And John Lund shows his mastery in a Formula 1 stock car and takes second with Bobby Burns 471 third and 31 Dave King fourth. Dave King coming under pressure right at the end for 64 Kev Smith, but that was after the flag, and King had claimed his place, although he ends up there on turns 1 and 2, and we can have the red flags please. We hope you enjoyed your bank holiday racing action with the BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars. Odsal Stadium Bradford was the place you saw it, and we'll be back here on September the 19th with that Championship of the World. We hope you enjoyed tonight's action. Certainly been very entertaining indeed. Plenty of last bend finishes, fast racing all the way around, and the added extra bonus of those clutch starts, which certainly provided some spectacular action in the opening heats. Okay then, so the last lap of honour tonight about to get underway, and just look at that cup that he's won, 202 Richard Mason. Very impressive indeed. Moving around on the lap of honour for your applause, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, winner of the Stock Sign Grand National and the Wilf Blundell Cup, 202 Richard Mason. Straight away, for those of you wanting to rush off home, we've got the result of the Grand National, and that was won by 202 Richard Mason. In second was 53 John Lund, and third place went to 471 Bobby Burns. In fourth it was 31 Dave King, fifth place went to 64 Kev Smith. In sixth it was 113 Russell Humphrey. Seventh place went to 33 Peter Fording on double points and double prize money from a lap handicap. Eighth went to 24 Lisa Harter. In ninth was 32 Stu Bates, and 10th place went to 535 Dave Cusack. So we'll run through those results to that Grand National, the Wilf Blundell Cup, numbers only. First 202, second 53, third 471, fourth 31, fifth 64, sixth 113, seventh 33, eighth 24, ninth 32, and in 10th at 535. Well, that wraps it up for tonight. We hope you enjoyed your bank holiday BriSCA Formula 1 action On behalf of your promoters, Bamford Promotions, this is your commentator Paul Hindle wishing you a very safe journey home and good night.